number one strength that you feel has most contributed to your success in Mary Kay?
I think my number one strength is that I love people. Like, I love helping people, and I love connecting with people and helping them reach their dreams.
Oh, I'm Alyssa Martin.
I'm Raisha Klein, and I know that what has helped me gain all my goals and everywhere I wanted to go was keeping in constant contact with my director at that time, which was Alyssa, and just running with her, putting my arms together, and I knew I wasn't on a goal or doing what I was supposed to do when I wasn't talking to her.
Yeah, and it's actually similar to what I was thinking earlier today, but Amy, when we started, would just tell us what to do. It's kind of like Angela. She just would say what to do, and you know she's successful. You know that she's paving the way for everyone, and you just didn't even question not to do that. So just following someone that you want to be like, someone that you admire, and looking up to them, and just listening and believing and trusting, and that was something that was a huge help for me.
So isn't it true that to be the best us that we can be is just knowing our strengths and running in those strength zones? So now let's hear, what are your top 3 skills you feel every consultant must master in order to move forward in leadership in Mary Kay? Get your pens out.
Take some notes.
Top 3 skills. Book, sell, recruit.
Wow! That's it. You guys, I do want to add, with your confidence. Grab your confidence and focus on recruit.
I'm going to add to this. Those are awesome, obviously, in the basics. Closing, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. Closing everything. Emotional management. And I wanted to say doing it like commitment. That, when you, accountability and commitment. When you say you're going to do something, you're absolutely going to do it. I trained on this with my consultants a bunch of, when we set out a goal of 30 faces and you say you're going to do 30 faces, and that's all nice, that what if, what if this was a job and you were fired at the end of the month and you didn't do 30 faces? Do you think you'd get your 30 faces done? And so, committing to a goal like that.
Awesome. Can I throw in a quick question that relates to that? So you talk about confidence. How did you build confidence in your business?
I think one of the things that really helps with confidence is just doing it, being in motion. Anytime I'm feeling a lack of confidence in my business, man, I get in front of people and I do a party, and my confidence is back. I had a $700 party on Thursday night, and I was like flying down here or driving, I felt so good about that. So I think anytime you're in motion, because I think Amy said it, we talked about it at the luncheon today, that inactivity is the dark room where our negatives develop. And so anytime we're feeling lacking in confidence, getting into motion and doing something to move you closer towards your goal, that always works for me.
Something when I started that was huge for me is, when you're in an environment where you're used to negativity, you just get used to it. It's not, you don't even really notice it. So when I started, I remember a coaching session with Amy, and I would say, well, what could I improve? And she wouldn't answer that. She would just continue to tell me how great I did at this, and I would say, no, but what can I change on this? And she wouldn't answer me, and at first I was so frustrated, but it built my confidence to just surround myself with her, with positive women and people who uplift you and don't bring you down. So that 5 people you surround yourself with was huge for me, and I did have to do a little bit of rearranging when I was in DIQ with my support system and the people I was surrounding myself with to build my confidence and stay confident.
I think a tip would be get over yourself and get focused on others. I think too many times we make excuses for ourselves or our situation. The other thing would be get dressed. I never book or feel good about my business when I am in crappy clothes and my face is not made up. And that is just the truth, and I've been told forever is you show up and you go and you get dressed, you get suited up, and that always makes you feel good. And the only time that you will really have a bad attitude about your business is when you are not in motion with it, or you're procrastinating, or you're really rebelling against yourself.
For me, one big thing is just not to seriously get over what people think about you, and to be able to laugh at yourself, because you're gonna screw up. We all screw up, and so if you learn to just laugh about it and know what, maybe next time I'll do it better, and just move forward, but not worrying about what others think. I mean, just know that what you do is the best that you can do, and maybe you screwed up, but you're gonna do better next time. And so it's just, I don't, not that I don't care what other people think, but I care more about what I'm doing for myself as I'm growing. And if you're focusing on what other people, if you're focusing on other people, then those screw-ups don't matter, because you're still doing something for them.
One more thing to add to that is doing what makes you feel strong and joyful, and doing a lot of that. A lot of times, especially probably at this point in the weekend, you're taking in all kinds of information of everything, and that even though there are some skills that we're teaching you and things we do want you to soak in and master, that you have to be the best you that you can be, and run in your strengths zones, and not do it exactly like somebody else. You know, not pick out somebody and say, I want to do it exactly like them. Oh my gosh, I have to do that exactly like them. My day has to look exactly like that. You need to do what makes you feel strong. And I just added that as Raisha shared, because that is true. You do your business better when you are dressed up and your hair done and your makeup done, and that is true for most people. In my former life, I was a dance teacher, so I do have my hair and makeup done, but I do my best work at home in my dance clothes, my dance pants, my dance shirt, and my kids laugh because you know when I'm seriously working or coaching somebody, I'm in my dance clothes, I'm sitting in my favorite old chair in my office, hanging upside down with my feet on the wall. And anyway, I share that only to say it's different. I could have gotten caught up in that I would do my best work in a suit, sitting at my desk, looking like somebody else. And so some things we don't want you, to soak up, but you got to do it in a way that makes you feel joyful and strong, and then do what makes you feel strong over and over.
Awesome. Fabulous. What were 1 to 2 key decisions related to the rest of your life that were necessary for you to make in order to transition from consultant to director? 1 to 2 key decisions.
I wrote down just not worrying what other people thought, because that was something that I used to worry about a lot. As I built my confidence, then that was something that definitely changed. But the other thing that changed was my prayer time. And I, as a consultant, was somebody who I felt was a Christian, and I said my prayers before I went to bed, and 99% of the time I fell asleep as I was saying my prayers. Thanks to leadership in Mary Kay, I was led to some great books and some great guidance. And so I actually set aside time during the day when I wasn't going to be falling asleep in the middle of my prayer time. So that was a huge transition for me.
Mine was finding the truer me. I can honestly say when I come to this business, I thought I knew who I was, but every event that I go to, I still find myself knowing or getting to know myself better. And the other thing was being okay with my weaknesses. I am okay with them now. And one thing that made me move from my situation was I was not okay with being in that situation anymore. I was a red jacket, and I was not okay with being a red jacket for another day. And I was not willing to go back to it, is basically what it was. I was a red jacket at the time. The director's suits were orchid, and I had never got my nails done in my life, and I said, I'm going to pay $30 every 2 weeks until I am in that orchid suit. And so purple and red totally clash. So you can imagine every appointment how I worked to get in that orange, or to get in that purple suit from that red jacket, because my fingernails were purple and they had to match.
I would say, just kind of related to the rest of my life in terms of how my schedule changed a little bit during that qualification period, was that when I started DIQ, it was during the school year, and I was still teaching full-time, and of course, it was just Patrick and I, we didn't have Lucy yet. But we had a conversation about, this is something we're doing for our future, and this is going to change our family. And so, for this short period of time, there are going to be things that we normally do that we're not going to do. Like, I normally go to your rodeos and I normally video you, and I'm not going to be at every one of them this month because this is what we're doing instead. And just having family on board and being on the same page with that, and knowing that it's for a short period of time, and that it's for something that's worth it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would just Alyssa, just evaluating, it was just some decisions about how I was organizing my life, how I was spending my time. I remember Amy said, if you plan your yeses, your nos are automatic. So the things that you were saying yes to in your life, then every time you got asked to do all kinds of crazy obligations, it was easy to not feel like you were saying no, but feeling like I already said yes to other things. I said yes to my Mary Kay business right now. And it doesn't mean that it was yes, forever, that you were giving up things forever, but just priorities that you were setting in your life, systems that you were setting in your life in place to organize the things that were really a priority for your life, of choosing what matters most, what I'm working for most, instead of maybe right now.
Can I piggyback off that real quick?
I just thought of something too, because how many of you are yes people? Like, people ask you to do things and you say yes because you want to help them. Yeah, it's a Mary Kay. We all love people, so we want to say yes and help them. And I remember Amy saying to me, I can't remember if it was in DIQ or before I was in DIQ, but she said, Alyssa, if you're saying yes to everything, every opportunity that people offer you, yes to chair this organization, and yes to do this, and yes to do that, because when we're leaders, we get asked to do everything, right? You all know you are women who get things done, and everybody at church knows that you get things done, and everybody at the school knows that you get things done, and you get asked to do everything. And Amy said to me, if you're saying yes to everything, you're robbing other people of their opportunities to shine, because if you take every one of those opportunities and you take that all on yourself and you try to do it all, then you're holding back that opportunity from someone else. So because you say, I'm so flattered that you would ask me to teach that Sunday school class, but right now at this time I'm going to have to say no, then they look for someone else, and that might be the best Sunday school teacher on the planet, and they never would have been asked if you had kind of hogged that opportunity. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Great. What do you most love about your life as a successful director?
I love that Lucy and I get to cuddle in bed in the morning and don't have to wake up really super early. I love it.
I'm so happy thinking about it.
I love running with winners. And this table is winners, and I'm so honored. I can't believe that I'm here. But I love running with true champion women that want to be the best versions of themselves. So I just love running on the track with y'all.
I love the flexibility. I love the freedom. I love that I can do appointments at the soccer fields 5 nights a week if I need to. And my kids are there and they're cheering me on, and it's a family business for us, and they know what our goals are. And when I get the Mary Kay Monopoly game, my kid will not let me be the pink car until I earn my own. Yeah, so I have to be the shoe. I love that. I love the freedom and the flexibility that it gives, and that I can go to Uganda for weeks or months if I choose. So I love them that.
I also love the freedom and flexibility, and just having that opportunity to be home with my kiddos, but also my parents as they're ailing. And we all get to that age where sometimes, not only do we have our kids to take care of, but we have our family, our parents as well. And that's where we're at in this stage of the game. Did I plan it to be at the same time that we were going to be pursuing our Cadillac? No. But I do feel like God had a plan and set some things up for us beforehand and allowed us to kind of coast through and move on and have a passion and an energy that was created beforehand in order for us to pursue some goals that were in the future. But freedom and flexibility allowed me to be with my parents even though I knew I needed to be doing some other things because of goals that were in mind. So just, it's amazing. And so because of that, there's just a whole new appreciation for what this company allows us to do. I mean, I was always grateful for freedom and flexibility, but now it's magnified a million times more, and I just want to be able to allow that for so many other people and so many other women, coming up the ranks. Raquel's loving the freedom and flexibility as well, so it's just it's amazing to be able to see other people appreciate what company has to offer too.
We all love freedom and flexibility. And just because we say that, I mean, don't think that we don't work hard. We do. We work hard. I mean, when we say we get to design our days the way that we want to, we do. And there is so much joy in that you can't possibly imagine in really designing and having a choice. But we do work hard. But it's like you work hard, play hard. You get, but you get to choose. You get to choose what you get to be at. And there is just no joy like that. I cannot imagine ever not having that. I mean, you guys, it is the ultimate joy. And when we say we want you to be with us, it's because we want you to have this life too. And when you don't, it's hard to even see what that would be like every day, to choose every day. I share at my success meeting every week, if I could find a school that opened at noon, I really would have the ultimate life. We wouldn't be waking up early in the morning, but other than that, there's just no joy like that in making your own choices and decisions every day.
Awesome. What is your favorite leadership book that you would recommend everyone read?
Well, right now it's the one we just got done reading. And it is amazing. Leadership and Self-Deception. I'm glad I went first and I got to take that one. There's lots of other ones. I love John Maxwell. I love Tony Dungy because I love sports things too. Sorry. That was it.
I know we're all going to say a lot of the same ones, but honestly, one of the books that really changed my life was Sun Stand Still by Stephen Furtick. And also he has another book that's called Greater that also was amazing. And then there's one other one, and it's called In a Pit with a Lion on a Snowy Day. And I can't remember the author right now. Mark Batterson, thank you. And those are three books that I just feel like have really been spoken personally to me over the last couple of years.
Yep, I would ditto all of them. My very first, I'll say this, my very first book that I felt really made a big difference, and I would say it's more of a Christian book, but of course I think all Christian books are leadership books, is Beth Moore's Believing God.
Well, I didn't know how to read a book until I was a director in Mary Kay, so I started with a little book like this, and it was John Maxwell's Leadership 101.
I would say the 5 levels of leadership. Just learning that there are different levels. I think a lot of people think that you've arrived when you reach a certain point, and you can always strive to be better, and you can always learn more at different levels. And so I really enjoy that one.
Awesome. Okay, to wrap it up here, what is the number one piece of advice you would share with everyone here today?
I would just say to dream big, to know what you're passionate about, and don't stop, don't give up. If I would have given up, I would have never went to Uganda. I know that now. So just dream big and just don't give up, because there's going to be so many people in your life, trust me, that tell you that you're crazy. And just don't give up.
I just need you to imagine, and someone needed to plant it in my mind, that I would be bringing people by the tables to events like this. So I need you to sit and look at yourself and say, who's going to be with me at my next event?
My thing right now that I'm thinking of is just don't compare. Because if you compare, you don't gain confidence. And if you don't gain confidence, you're not going to grow. And I remember at a place in my new consultant career path, when I would compare myself to Amy Gamboyan and her gorgeous nails and her put together self and my khaki teacher pants and my Doc Martin shoes and my red jacket that I wore with my khaki pants. Okay, because I thought that was being dressed up. But just, you can't compare yourself to other people. You know, once you have your own sense of who you are, then you're gonna start having confidence and then you're gonna start to grow.
I'm gonna piggyback off of Buffy because she completes me. And I would say own your journey and be okay with your story. And just because you don't move as fast or you don't do something in the same way as someone else, know that God has a purpose for your story and for your journey. And because it's unique and it's special to you, you're going to be able to give hope in a different way and to a different population of people than someone who has a different story than you. So there's a purpose for your story and your journey, so just really own that and be proud of that.
The one that came to me first is we talk a lot about finding your why, but finding immediately your non-negotiable line in the sand of, again, I said that out there, you might be telling yourself and telling your director you're doing a lot of things, but what is the line that you're absolutely drawing for yourself that you're going to finish? And we draw that line when you do connect it to something. You know, why do you have to do it now? Why do you have to become a red jacket now? What's going to happen? What is that going to do for your family? Why do you need to make $1,000 by the end of the month now? Why is that a non-negotiable line? Why is it going to change when you do it now and not tomorrow? Because until we attach it to that I'm absolutely going to cross that finish line. I'm absolutely not going to be on this side. I am absolutely going to be on that side. Until that is so pulling at your heartstrings that you are working towards that, there is always that I can do it tomorrow. I can do it next month. I can be a red jacket next month. Or next month. Or by Christmas. And I'm not saying you're going to find that immediately, but that's a great conversation to have with your director of how you can figure out what that is that is so pulling on your heartstrings that you will absolutely cross it.
Awesome. Let's give it up for our top director.